So you read this book and a light bulb obviously went off.
Welcome to the Greg Farricielli podcast. We are brokers and investors working heavily in the real estate game and have met extraordinary people along the way who are doing amazing things to help their peers and their communities grow. We are excited to give you revolutionary ways to live your best life.
And the biggest thing I'm hearing here is you took action. You're like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yes.
So what did you do when you're like, you leave your friend's house, you're all excited. It's like, what did you do next?
Well, I had heard for years, off and on, Dave Ramsey on his show referenced a group called REIN, Real Estate Investors of Nashville.
Okay.
And I'd always put off going, and I let fear stop me. And the way that it stopped me is I had fixed up a house that I grew up in that my mom had kept as a rental house. So literally, it was me with a pot and a pound or two of spaghetti and my tools in my truck and a mattress on the floor. And I was just working on this thing for about 6 weeks. And I remember thinking, man, I could totally do this. This was 2002. I was like, I could totally like fix up a house and sell it and everything or something. I think that's something I should do. And a buddy of mine, my best friend from high school, his dad was in commercial real estate. And I was like, hey, what do you think about this idea where you buy a house and you fix it up and you think? He's like, oh man, I don't know. That's a hard way to go, man. You know, a lot of people get burned doing that. And I listened to him. For 2 years, I delayed going to REIN or anything. And then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that got me fired back up to go do something. So I sought out this group, REIN, and I started going, and they had cash flow game nights. They had a main monthly meeting, and I started networking with all these people who were actually doing it, who were not afraid, who were actually really competent and succeeding at it. I was like, I want to be like them. I want to do what they're doing. And so through them, through REIN, I met my first mentors, Greg and Jenny Pitts, and they taught me so many wonderful things about real estate, and they were actually doing it. And that's what was great, is it was someone who was actually doing it in real life, flesh and blood, and not a guru, you know, up on a stage or someone on a late night TV show.
And they're using their own money.
And they're using their own money and using other people's monies. They're doing equity partnerships, private lending, all that kind of stuff. And this is, my mind is just like blowing up at this point. I was like, this is a whole completely different world than you hear about. And so I was like, well, sign me up.